Hey guys, it's Donna, and welcome to another week of Roadies United. I originally started filming this video yesterday, but didn't finish, and wasn't really happy with how it turned out, so I'm going to redo it. Anyway, so this is the second or third Cantwell Saturday video, I think. I rarely vlog during the weekend, but it won't be like uploaded every Cantwell Saturday. It's just going to be like an ongoing series, and this series is going to be called Imagine Road Trip Reacting to Finding Andy. And I've had like general observations after my friend Shannon, who I'll give shoutouts at the end, right? So I was given before reading this fanfiction, I was given the general plot through message from my friend. So before reading it, I came up with ideas of what I think the boys would do while reading the fanfiction, if that makes sense. And basically, we all know Rye. And before reading this fanfiction, I kind of imagined him acting out the entire thing, or at least attempting to act out the entire thing. And, so basically, as someone else reads it, he'd act out everything. That's what I think, anyway. If you've read the fanfiction and have any differing imagines, you can comment them down below, I don't mind. But this is just what I think, it's from my point of view, personally. Anyway, so Rye would act it all out. Brooklyn would see how much fun Rye had acting it out at the start and would join in. Blair would make fun of them acting it out and would just entirely mimic everything they do, but in a joke kind of way, obviously. Andy and Mikey would just burst into laughter. They'd pretty much just die laughing. And Harvey would stop, stare, and randomly burst into song. And that song will become the theme song to Finding Andy. I've had a suggestion of the song Marvin Gaye as the theme song that Harvey would randomly burst into. If you have any other song ideas, you can comment them down below as well. Feel free. And so that's what Road Trip would do throughout the entire reading of the fanfiction. So I came up with some quotes from the first part and the second part, and what I think they'd do while reading it. So, here it goes. I'm trying to find good angles for this. I think that's fine. Right, so the first... I can't talk today. The first quote I have for them to react to, for us to close our eyes and imagine them reacting, is, portals have opened up all around the world. Rye or Mikey would probably say something like, that would actually be dead cool. Imagine being able to travel dimensions. We could be superheroes. I could actually imagine them kind of dressing up like superheroes and pretending to be superheroes jumping through portals. Oh my goodness. Right. And next we have Mikey ran over to the window and he gasped in amazement while attempting to act out everything. Rye would then pretend to be Mikey, run to the window, gasp in amazement, and just be all like, ooh, pretty colors. I just don't know why, but I can just imagine that. Colors are brilliant, right? I'm trying my best. Okay, skip forward. I'm not gonna do everything in the fanfiction. I'm just gonna do different quotes. It would take ages to do everything. So, skip further into the fanfiction. Brooklyn then says, well, here's the quote. I'm too full-on scared. I have a fear of portals, cried Brooklyn. He then exploded. There were bits of Brooklyn everywhere. It took us 34 minutes to stick them together with superglue. poor Brooklyn. Brooklyn exploded. Brooklyn would probs laugh while reading all of it till the part he exploded. I don't know what he'd do when he found out he exploded. I can't really... Yeah, but he'd probably stop laughing at the part where he exploded. Yeah. Next quote. I told Brooklyn to push Andy into a portal as a joke, and he actually did it. Andy would then stop laughing, put on his poker face, and say, "That's not funny." I can just imagine Andy's poker face. Can you guys? If you have any ideas for Andy's poker face, comment below. I'm just trying to get as much human interaction as I can without having to leave my house. Right. Everyone's gonna like this bit. I have nowhere to rest my camera in here, so. Right. Next part. We were in some kind of forest, but not just any forest. The trees were made of chocolate and pizza grew on them. There were sweets all over the ground, such as Skittles and Starburst. The clouds were made of fluffy candy floss. I'd like to live in that forest. I would. I'd eat everything. There would be no forest left if I lived there. Brooklyn would just say, "Right, I'm hungry now." I can just... Come on, he's Brooklyn. We all know that would happen, am I right? Am I right? Then, next quote. This was all great, but we still couldn't find Andy. Poor Andy's lost. Rye would start yelling, "Andy! Andy! Andy!" Like a game of Marco Polo. Marco Polo. See? I have an active imagination, but sometimes it's really not good at anything. Next chapter. Okay. So if you've read the fanfiction, if you've read the actual fanfiction, you'll get this part. Okay, the dark figure in the distance was getting closer and closer, and we all just stood there in shock. Suddenly the thought hit me that we had to run, and quickly. Okay, "Run, humans!" I yelled. Oh my. Okay, so I think after that part gets read out by one of the boys, I think Blair would just be all like, "Run, humans?" Like a kind of, "Really? You'd say that?" kind of thing. Because I don't really know, but I imagine that he'd say that. I imagine it. It's my imagination. My imagination does wild and crazy things. That's not very wild or crazy. Next! It has a freaking knife! Oh my, a freaking knife, really? Brooklyn would act scared and yell, "Who is the mental guy chasing us?" I can just imagine. Brooklyn's like the baby, so he has to be the one that says that. He's baby road trip. Like Baby Spice, but Roadtrip Style. And I don't know, I can just imagine a little innocent look on his face as he reads that out. Anyone else? Anyone? Me? Okay. Next. I planned out the video, but I didn't have good connecting things, so I'm just gonna say next. Yeah. Mikey and Brooklyn realized too and stopped running. The dark figure was Blair. Blair does not look amused in this imagine. Well, this imagine to them reacting. To my imagine. To this imagine in real life. I'll stop. Blair does not look amused. The boys tried to hold in their laughter. I can see that happening. You guys? Anyone? Comment down below if you see this. If anything in here you see happening in real life, comment it. Tell me your thoughts of my video that is me laughing at my own imagine. Hey. Next. This is legit, I said, with a massive smile on my face. The gingerbread house was brown with a cute red door. I can't read my own writing. Apparently red's white now. Okay. Brooklyn's back. He'd probably say something like, "Rye! I'm hungry!" And Rye would just completely ignore Brooklyn's observation of being hungry and say, "Aw, cute," referring to the gingerbread house. Yes, I think I see this happening. I just do. Next! Blair knocked on the door and a small old lady answered. She had white hair and her face was wrinkled all over. Rye would just stop acting this out and say, "Does this not remind you of that fairy tale?" It reminded me of that. That's why I imagined them, because I think they know their fairy tales. I know my fairy tales. Brooke would reply. This is still them reacting to the previous quote. Brooke would reply, "We're not going to get eaten, are we?" I can just imagine this. Well, it's actually an entire thing of me imagining them doing this, so of course I can just imagine. Next! The old lady told us that she was married to a massive blue gummy bear named Steve. Brooklyn would just react to this by being all like, "I like this guy already." Well, this bear. "I like this bear already." Next. Her husband came home. He seemed lovely. Or so I thought. Brooklyn would just be all like, "Steve? So confused." I just think he'd be so confused about this Steve character. Next! I heard the old lady say something eerie to her husband. "We will kill them tomorrow." Rye would say, "Brooklyn, the lesson here is, don't trust massive blue talking gummy bears." Andy butts in. Andy will then butt in and say, "I'm glad I'm not with you lot," and then start laughing. I'd actually be glad if I wasn't with them, personally. I mean, I don't want to be murdered by a giant talking blue gummy bear. Would any of you? This is such an imaginative fan fiction. I'm telling you this now, I actually kind of like it, and I've only read the first 2 chapters. Yeah, that's the amount of quotes I have written down for the first 2 chapters. I have, if you've not read it, go to Wattpad and just put in Finding Andy. That's pretty much it. So stay tuned next time for another Imagine, and before I end this vlog, I'm going to give a few shoutouts. Hey, this is new. Right, so first shout out goes to my friend Shannon, who actually gave me this idea unintentionally. She just asked if I've read it, and I haven't. And she told me what it was about, and I just thought I could do an Imagine road trip reacting to this. Because I actually just imagined them reacting to it, based on that whole thing that I said at the start. Secondly, shout out to Anna, who wrote the fan fiction, and actually gave a lot of laughs during my reading of the first 2 chapters, and I'm just like, Steve. Steve's a brilliant name for a giant blue talking gummy bear. Just saying. Well done. Third shout out goes to my friend Becca, who, without her, I would not know Road Trip existed, and I would not have met them, and you would have not met me. So in a lot of ways, Becca is kind of responsible for this channel. And shout out to Terry, who helped me decide to turn this into a series rather than one video. Shout out to a girl called Leanne for being a cool internet friend, and you're awesome. And lastly, shout out to Roadtrip for appearing in this fanfiction written by Anna. Shout out to Harvey for appearing in my imagination, but I know you're real. And shout out to Blair for making Roadtrip and Harvey appear to us. That makes no sense, but you know what I mean. I'll put all the shout out people's socials in the down bar, and along with Roadtrip, Harvey, and Blair's socials, and me and Amy's socials too. I hope you have a fabulous Can't Saturday, and I'll see you next time on Roadies United. Bye guys!